Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another special ranking video for this week. Tonight, I will be ranking the top 10 horror franchises. Now, to me, to make it into this list, a film series has to have at least half of their films are as good as the bad ones, if there are any. A series like Hellraiser, it's not going to make my list. I'm sorry. There's only 3 films that are decent in that series. The first one was great. The second one, okay. And then the third one was fine. But the rest of that series was total shit. So, yeah. Film series that's got less hits than misses, for me, won't be making this list. So, with that in mind, let's begin this list. And keep in mind, this is my list. You may not agree with some of my picks for this, but I will give you a short reasoning for why I chose this one over others. All right. So, starting off with number 10, the Halloween franchise. This franchise started in 1978 and continued on until 2022. Now, I am not putting remakes in this, so the 2 Rob Zombie films are not counted on this. But this one is low because, yes, it has some good ones. It has, Halloween. It has Halloween 2. It has Halloween 3. It has Halloween 4. It has Halloween 6, which I think is okay. And then it has Halloween H2O, which is okay. But then it also has Halloween 5. It has Halloween Resurrection. It has those last 3 travesty of films with Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. So yeah, those really brought this one down for me on this list. I would have loved to put Halloween higher because I really do love the Michael Myers character, and I really love the original series of films. But what they did with these stupid fucking soft reboots, it just really hurt this franchise. Alright, coming in at number 9, we have the Friday the 13th franchise. This franchise started in 1980 and continued on until 2003. Like I said, I'm not including the remakes on this. So the Friday the 13th remake, even though I like it, it's not included on this list. Alright, so this one is better than Halloween, is higher than Halloween because, in my opinion, Friday the 13th had more hits than it had misses on it. I mean, you had some really bad ones, and it's kind of half and half. That's why it's lower on my list, unfortunately. And again, that's unfortunate because I really like the Jason Voorhees character. But yeah, this is a franchise that I really love, but it's not one of the best horror franchises out there, unfortunately. All right. Coming in at number 8, we have A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, this series started in 1984 and continued on until 2003, just like Friday the 13th. And I put it higher than Friday the 13th and Halloween due to the fact that, in my opinion, Nightmare on Elm Street did not have as many bad films. Yes, some of them had bad decisions in them, but the overall films were not overly bad. The worst of this film franchise was, of course, Freddy's Dead, and Freddy vs. Jason did not do this series any favors. So, yeah, it makes my list at number 8. Coming in at number 7, we have the Final Destination franchise. Now, this franchise started in 2000 and continued on until 2011. And it's pretty consistent with the exception of one bad film, in my opinion. In my opinion, this film series was pretty good, and then it got the Final Destination, which I don't think the Final Destination is as bad as most people say it is, but yeah, it is a step down from the others, and thankfully Final Destination 5 kind of redeemed that film. Overall, this franchise was really good and maintained its consistency of giving you what you wanted to see, which was carnage candy, and getting to see death take people out in very inventive ways. And it always gave us that. Even the Final Destination gives you the carnage candy, just in a lackluster style. So that's why this one is my number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have the Phantasm franchise. This franchise started in 1979 and continued on until 2014. Now, this one's higher on my list just because, in my opinion, this series only had one bad film, and that was the last film in the franchise, Part 5, Ravager, or whatever the fuck it was called. But the previous 4 films in the series, first 3, pretty damn good. I like all 3 of the first 3 Phantasm films. 4 is okay. It's not bad. It's not a travesty like 5 is. But, yeah. This one came close to being a pretty consistent, good franchise until that 5th chapter. And that's what hurt it and dropped it down on the list. Coming in at number 5, we have Child's Play. Now, this franchise started in 1988, and it continued on until 2023, basically, with the Chucky TV series, even though I shouldn't really be counting that, but I'm going to count it anyway. This is a series that, much like Phantasm, has only one bad film in it, in my opinion. And that is Seed of Chucky. Seed of Chucky is god-awful. There's no redeeming qualities about it to me. But the rest of the franchise as a whole, which is quite a few more films, are pretty damn good. So, and it's a pretty good series. I haven't seen the second season, so I don't know if it downgraded then, but the first season of the TV series was pretty damn good. So, and like I said, I'm not counting the remakes, so I'm not counting that one on this against Child's Play. But that's why it makes my number 5 on this list. Coming in at number 4, we have Saw. Saw started in 2004 and continued on until 2023. And it's got a new film coming out this month. So we'll see how that one works. Will it bring down my ranking on this one eventually? We'll see. But this one, it's a pretty consistent franchise. I have never seen a Saw film that I dislike or hate. They all give you what you're looking for, almost like Final Destination. But this one, I don't think it had any misses. I mean, sure, they had some little plot things that, were not that great, but it didn't overall hurt the film. So, that's why I rank Saw at number 4 on my list. Coming in at number 3, we have the Evil Dead franchise. Now, this franchise started in 1981 and has continued on until 2023. And I believe it's still alive today, This franchise, even though I don't like some of the things that they did in the 2013 film, it wasn't a bad film. So, in that conjecture, this whole series has had consistent, decently made good films. So that's why it made my list higher than some of these others that had really bad films. So, here we are in the final 2. Coming in at number 2, we have the Scrimm franchise. The Scrimm franchise started in 1996 and has continued on and is still alive to this day in 2023. Now, this is another one, like Evil Dead, that I don't believe that this film series has ever really had a truly bad, god-awful film that had no redeeming qualities about it. The Scrimm films are all pretty good films. Do they make a few little glaring mistakes throughout each of the films? Yes. But that, like Evil Dead, it doesn't hurt the overall film. So that's why this one gets to be where it is on this list. All right. So, number 1 horror franchise of all time, in my opinion, is the Psycho franchise. The Psycho franchise started in 1960 and carried on until 1990. I am only counting the 4 films in the series, 1, 2, 3, and 4, the beginning. The remake, of course, is not counted on this, and I'm not counting any of the TV series stuff on this one. I could, but not gonna. I think Psycho is the most perfectly done series. Much like, Scream and Evil Dead. But the reason I put it higher than those is that those films never had as many glaring issues in the films. Like I said, even though some of those films in the previous 2 films series didn't hurt the overall film. This one, there's not many issues that I can complain about these films. These films, this is a pretty consistent, really good series of 4 films that maintained that great factor. And for that fact, it is my number 1 horror franchise of all time. But what do you guys think? How would you rank the horror franchises? Would you put another film series that I didn't put on my list on here? Let me know in those comments down below, as I'd like to know. Alright. If you like this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon to be notified about future videos whenever they go up. All right. This is the end of another ranking video during this special week. Hope you will join me tomorrow for another set of rankings. Till then, thanks for watching.